Hey everyone, this is Chappie from Stand Out Running. Thank you for so much for tuning in. As always, thank you for your time. Today I'm doing a Super Max review. Get it, Max, because I will be looking at some of the best Max shoes. Now, these shoes are most well known for their long distance runs, their recovery runs. However, they are mostly versatile shoes that would be great shoes if you're just looking for one. Now, some of these are expensive because, that's the market nowadays, but these are all great choices. And it kind of depends on the fit that you are looking for, depends on the feel, and some of your purposes as well. Um, so that's what's so great about the shoe market now is there's so many incredible options for every category, from your recovery shoe, long distance shoe, daily shoe, interval shoe, race day shoe. Um, and that's what makes it hard to find the right one because they just keep coming out over and over. And I've gotten several of these. I've had success with some, no success with others. And it's starting to make my wife a little mad with how many shoes that keep coming in and out of the house. So I gotta watch out for that. So hopefully this video may help you make a more educated decision and you don't have to get yelled at for buying multiple pairs, returning them, or anything like that. All right, with that being said, let's get into the shoes. But one that I'm enjoying quite a bit. So first, let's go over the stats. You have 9.6 ounces for a U.S. men's size 10.5, that's 270 grams, and 7.9 ounces, 225 grams for a U.S. women's size 7.5. So the stack height is 45 millimeters in the heel, 39 millimeters in the forefoot, giving you a 6 millimeter drop. It is best for daily training, long runs, and up-tempo efforts, and I mean best for. It's a very versatile shoe. The key features, of course, are the Hyperboost foam, which everyone I've talked to and all the reviewers will say it is incredible, and it is probably my favorite feeling foam to date. It's not like soft, you're not sinking, but you still get plenty of protection. You get that instant rebound. It feels so great, and especially when you get up on your forefoot, that shoe can really pick up the pace. The foam is definitely the key highlight. Now, the problem with it is the prime weave upper. So the upper is, I'll say this. Rumors say that the red version, which you see right here, was made a little bit higher, so people had more problems with rubbing on their ankle bones and in the back. However, the newer colorways that came out, there's the blue, white, green, and they say those fix the problem and they're a little bit lower. I can confirm that I have gotten the blue colorway and I have no problems with rubbing. Also, the look in person is a lot better than online, because at first I did not like it. I was like, no, that's ugly as a basketball shoe, but in person I actually love it. Now, that being said, no, it is not a fantastic upper. I don't know what Adidas was thinking. Maybe they just really want to push the envelope, try something different, but it is stiff. It's not very breathable, so there are some problems with that. The light traction outsole is durable rubber outsole for excellent grip and lightweight traction. So it's very, very nice shoe, and I highly recommend it. Next is the super popular, but again, controversial Superblast 3 from ASICS. All right, so looking at the stats, we have 10.2 ounces, 289 grams for a U.S. men's size 10.5, 8.3 ounces, 235 grams for a U.S. women's 7.5. Now, those stats are found out in ChatGPT. I double checked it. Those are not correct. This is definitely your lightest shoe. It is lighter than the Hyperboost Edge, not by much though, but it's still your lightest option. The sack height is 45.5 in the heel and 37.5 in the forefoot, giving an 8 millimeter drop. This is best for your daily training, your long runs, and your recovery days. Key features are the engineered woven upper. The upper is extremely comfortable. It's a nice kind of wide fit, so there's plenty of space. It's got good lockdown. Again, it lacks kind of being the most breathable upper, but it's very soft. No problems, no rubbing anywhere. It's really nice. So the midsole is an FF Blast Plus mixed with their FF Blast Leap. Sorry, it's a dual foam setup. It's extremely soft, putting their race foams into it, and it's very cushioned. It does respond to you. It does come back. You can pick up the pace quite a bit with it. However, I will say that it is not as fast to me as the Hyperboost Edge. I find the Superblast 3, I sink in a little bit too much. I'm not getting now that energy return, which I prefer. If this shoe is going to protect your feet and protect your legs for a long run, your easy runs. So if I'm just going out for a steady run, I would choose this over the Hyperboost Edge. But again, this is a perfectly fine shoe that can really do anything you want with it. All right, next up is one of my favorites. It's the On Cloud Monster 3 Hyper. All right, so weight, we're looking at 9.6 ounces, 271 grams, and a men's size 9.5. The stack height is 45 millimeters in the heel, 39 millimeters in the forefoot, 6 millimeters drop. So this is a maximum cushion trainer for long runs. That's what they designate it as, but please do not be confused. This is max cushioned, as in meaning there's a lot of cushion beneath your foot, but it is not the softest thing. In fact, this is the firmest shoe of all of them. Now, the good thing about that is you get the most stability. All right, so how this midsole is made is the Helion HF Hyper Foam with Cloud Tech for supreme cushioning and energy return. So the white portion you see is our Helion HF Hyper. That is your soft, kind of like soft blend, and then their Cloud Tech is their kind of patent stuff that kind of acts as a chassis that keeps the shoe very stable and gives you that more responsive ride. And it is great. The best thing about this shoe is it just softens up the more you use it, and the more it softens up, the better it becomes. Now, you're not getting an instant rebound, but you're getting a really good, supportive, stable shoe for a long run. It's got nice durable rubber for traction and long-lasting wear. This shoe is probably going to last you the longest. All right, next is the Hoka Skyward X2. Weight puts it at 9.7 ounces, 275 grams for a U.S. men's size 10.5, 7.5 ounces, 210 grams for a U.S. women's size 7.5. Now, this is going to be the heaviest of the shoes and also the slowest. The stack height is 42 millimeters in the heel, 34 millimeters in the forefoot with 8 millimeter drop. That is actually not correct. Again, I believe it's got a 5 millimeter or 6 millimeter drop. So this is best for everyday running, long runs, and even threshold work. Really, it says. I disagree. This is meant to go slower. This is more of a recovery run. Sure, you can try to pick up the pace in it, but it's going to be holding you back if you're really trying to go those extra paces. That being said, if you're getting a shoe just for your easy long runs, just to put miles in, this is a great shoe. It's not bouncy, it's not soft, it's kind of somewhere in between. It's just smooth, and that's the best way to describe it. It is a dual density PIBA midsole, a zonal warp mesh upper. It's actually a jacquard mesh upper, which means it's fancy. It has a nice glide geometry, rubber pod style outsole. So a very nice all around shoe for your recovery and your long runs. All right, next is one of perhaps the most underrated shoe, even though it is still very popular, is the Rad UFO. So with this shoe, you have 8.8 ounces, 249 grams for a U.S. men's size 9, 7.5 ounces, 210 grams for a U.S. women's size 7.5. Stack height, we have 42 millimeters in the heel, 34 millimeters in the forefoot with 8 millimeter drop. This is best for everyday running, long runs, even threshold work, really, and this one I agree. this one you can really get going. It feels as light as the Superblast 3, even though it's a tad bit heavier, but not by much. But I find this much more versatile. I find I can get up and go in fashion. This one, I find the upper to be the most comfortable of all of them, I have to say. So it's a dual density PIBA midsole, zonal warp mesh upper that is super comfortable, very airy. Rubber pod style outsole. This is just a great shoe that will give you everything. All right, so let's take a look at all of them together. All right, so first we're looking at weight. So weight-wise across the board, you have 8.5 ounces for the Adidas, 9.2 for the On Cloud Monster 3, Hoka with 9.7, A6 Superblast 3 with the 8.4, and the Rad UFO in 8.8. So if you're going to look at that, the winner in this category is the A6 Superblast 3 with 8.4, with the Hyperboost Edge just behind it, followed by the Rad UFO. All right, so now let's look at the cushion level. Now, this is, again, where I disagree with his ratings, but let me talk through it. So it gives Hyperboost Edge a 4.5 out of 5. And I don't know what, and obviously, if you like less cushion, then you are looking for the lower rating. So, it's hard to define cushion, because if you're talking about cushion as in a lot of foam underneath, yeah, then they all have it. However, if you're looking for a firmer feel, then this is not going to be the same as the Hoka Skyward X2, even though they're rated at the same. So it gives it a 4.5 out of 5. I don't feel like that's wrong. I do disagree with the On Cloud Monster 3 Hyper with the 5 out of 5 cushion. It's a higher stack height, but that doesn't mean it's more cushion. In fact, it's firm. So I would definitely lower that score. The Hoka Skyward X2 is plenty of cushion. I'm good with that 4.5 out of 5. The A6 Superblast 3 is probably definitely the softest of all of them. So if you see cushion as soft, then yes, A6 Superblast 3 is the best. So out of 2 categories so far, you have the A6 Superblast 3 winning. The Rad UFO comes in at 4 out of 5. It is a very nice cushion shoe. I definitely think it should be rated quite higher than the Cloud Monster 3 Hyper, but there you have it. Now, versatility. Versatility is the key thing about these shoes, and again, I'm not too sure. I do not agree with all these. All right, Adidas Hyperboost Edge. To me, that should be a 5 out of 5. This shoe and the foam can do anything. You can go slow and easy, and you feel great, and you can really pick up the pace. So 5 out of 5 for that for me, but despite that, charts say 4.5 out of 5. The On Cloud Monster 3 Hyper, 4.5 out of 5. I will agree. I really think you can pick up plenty of speed with the 3 Hyper, especially with that firm that kind of firmer feel. You can get up and going. The Hoka Skyward X2 is insane. Putting it 4.5 out of 5, that is like a 3 out of 5. It is meant to go 1 gear and 1 gear only. Sure, you can push it, you can use it for different things, but if you're looking just for the purpose of it, it is a steady cruiser for recoveries or long runs. A6 Superblast 3, I would give this at least a 4.5, probably 5 out of 5. The reason I dock it down a point is because, again, I feel like I cannot get up and go in it as fast as I can, say, the Hyperboost Edge, but that's me personally. And the Rad UFO, 4.5 out of 5, I will absolutely agree with that. That is a do-it-all shoe. All right, so width. Again, this is a matter of opinion. Most of these shoes are pretty wider, but there are some different feels to them. Without a doubt, the Rad is the widest, followed by the Superblast 3. Then I'd probably say the Skyward X2, and probably maybe a tie between the Hyperboost Edge and the Hyper. Now, it gives them all similar scores, but there is that. All right, so if we look at the totals, our lowest ranked shoe is the Hoka Skyward X2, and I agree. You take in the weight, you take in the versatility, and it's definitely losing points for that. The next shoe up is the shoe after that is the On Cloud Monster 3 Hyper. Again, I love this shoe, but it makes sense because, some people really don't want that firm feel, and you are losing out with that. All right, so then after that is the the Adidas Hyperboost Edge. I love that shoe. Now, myself personally, I rank that higher than the Superblast 3, but I'm going off these charts and kind of the scores. So that comes in third place. Second place overall is going to be the ASICS Superblast 3. And this might be a surprise. Most people would probably think Superblast 3 is the best of them, but I really find great luck with the Superblast 3 compared to the Rad UFO. I'm sorry, I take that back. I said the wrong things. I'm meant to say that the Rad UFO is a, like the best out of all of these. It's got the most comfort. Again, if I could do anything, if I could take the midsole of the Hyperboost and put that on the Rad upper, then oh my god, that would be a perfect shoe. Now, let me know if you agree or you disagree with these scores and with these charts. All right, thank you so much.